ever had that?
Like hit rock bottom.
Not rock bottom, more like a shift in mentality as far as like a turning point where it's like, okay, you know what? I'm not doing that. I'm gonna do this, and that's what I think I'm gonna be going towards and be successful in.
Yeah. So your question is kind of one of the deeper ones. In what ways have you changed over the past year? And I was just thinking about like all of your guys', stories and how mine recently with my job and then also with my relationship where I was in a relationship with someone where I just felt like this is not what I want and this is something I need to change. Also, my job, I'm in a place where I don't feel comfortable. Sometimes you're gonna have to go through it, right? Or sometimes you're gonna have to deal with it, and there's no excuses. But I was in a place where I could have changed that, where I'm like, oh, I know I have the opportunity. I'm young. I'm financially safe right now. I have a lot of time. Let me, and I don't have huge responsibilities. I don't have payments. I don't have to worry about what I'm gonna be doing the next few months. So I'm like, I'm gonna change it. I'm gonna change my relationship and I'm gonna change my career. I want to pursue something else, something different, and most importantly, I think like trusting God. Like every time I think about it, like, oh, okay, I need to better myself. I need to do something different. I also think about God and ask Him, like, is this what you want me to do? Is this the right thing? And I just hope and pray every day that it is what His will is, basically. And I've never hit rock bottom, thank God. And obviously, I also wouldn't want my kids. I'm not saying like I can prevent that. That's inevitable. But I feel like if it happens, it happens. If it happens to me, so be it. If it happens to my children, God willing, it doesn't, so be it. But I've had to make many changes throughout my life. But I think recently, like I've made huge changes where I know that it's the right thing to do, and I think God is going to be also there to help me out.
Yeah.
And you'll never know until you do it, right? You never know until you open that door and you go through it, and you're like, okay, this is what's next. This is the next step in my life, which is good. Change is good. Not all the time, but for the most part, sometimes it's good or bad. But yeah, career-wise, I'm ready for what's next. Relationship-wise, I'm just waiting on God's timing. Obviously, I'll do my part, but I'm happy. I'm like even though I don't have a job, I don't have anything lined up. I'm good. Thankfully, and thank God, because some people don't have the opportunity to like just leave a job. And they're like, no, I need to have something lined up. I have to feed my children, my family, clothe them and pay rent or whatever. Like, I can't complain. And I'm so grateful for everything that God has done for me in my life and my family and friends and everything. So yeah, change is always going to happen, but that's the more recent things that have been going on.
Yeah, that's good because I think one of the ways that I bring up a prayer for God or to God is I always see it as three different things. So I'll just put it on with the cards. A lot of the last few months I've been praying this where it's like I kind of see it as a platter, and I always say like, God, I'm bringing my job with Anderson Systems, my business, Copper Rose Plumbing, and then even this UNFC, and whatever direction you want me to go, that's where I'm gonna go. If any of these fail, I'm bringing it to you. You decide if I get rid of one, if I continue with one, if I go with one specific one, forget about the other two. Whatever direction you push me towards pursuing, that's where I'm gonna go. And if it's none of them, well, I'll end up like you. We'll find something to put on the tray. But for now, I'm gonna bring that to you, and you do with what it is in whatever direction it is that I'm gonna go. So I think that's been my prayer recently, where I just say like, whatever direction, whatever you want me to stop, wherever you want me to go, you let me know. I'll go that way. And it's tough because there's a lot of stuff like the business that right now I feel like it's not getting the attention that it needs, but it might be also because God doesn't want me to put my attention on that specifically. And it could be like UNFC. Maybe this is actually working out and this is actually going to like eventually become something based on this progress, but it could easily change, and I'm gonna just leave it to God to guide me in whatever direction that is.
Yeah.
Amen.
I mean, it could even be, something even as simple as these conversations are like, right now, we're just talking, we're just having conversations, we're, building each other up and stuff. But some listeners are, it's impacting them. Like it's like it's touching their hearts, and it's like, man, like I didn't know, like if you really want it, like you could just actually go do it. Like, and that's news for some people. Like that's motivation for some people. And there's people, like I always said, there's motivation, there's that drive, there's that discipline that you need. There's people who they only have that motivation, but they don't have that discipline to keep going. So